Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Platinum Achievement Podcast, where each week we invite you to join a community of fun-loving gamers from around the world in the most action-packed podcast of all time. Welcome to the party. What's up, everybody, all you podcast people out there? I'm excited to announce that we have a skeleton crew for you today. It's only me, Chris, and Imran. Everyone else is incognito, out of country, all sorts of stuff. It's a mess. Chris, why don't you tell everybody how much you miss our co-hosts who aren't here?
I miss Brian. That's it.
Brian and Matt are out of the picture today. Matt had plans, so shout out to his crew of people that he's hanging out with tonight. And Brian is actually in, where did he say he was in, Imran?
Brian's in Ireland. I can't remember. Kilkenny, I think he's in.
I don't know, but he's somewhere. He's somewhere where there's pots of gold everywhere.
He's closer to me. That's the most important thing.
He's drinking Guinness for breakfast, and, I guess that's a good thing where they're from. So, congratulations, Brian. Hope you're resting up. Rest that voice. Everybody loves it. Matt, shout out to you as well. Just between me and everybody out there, Chris confided in me that he really missed Matt. I don't know why. Why did you say? You did say you missed Matt. It was something hilarious. You said he made you sound good. Something about him sounding so horrible, it makes you sound good, right?
Wait, Matt is on the show with us?
Yeah, he's gonna pop out the back door all of a sudden. He's gonna come out and strangle you. Matt's taking a break as well. Matt's having fun tonight. So Matt, shout out to you. Brian, shout out to you. Everybody else out there, we got an incredible response from the topics that we put out there, so we're excited to bring you those. We want to thank every listener that we have, every subscriber that we have on the YouTube. It's kind of weird the way we have it since we're on so many channels. We know that people are listening on Android. We know that people are listening through, direct iTunes. We know that people are subscribing on the YouTube. So it's all spread out. I don't know how many regular listeners we have. We estimate it to be, what would you say, like 300 is probably safe, right, Imran?
Yeah, probably.
So,
I don't know.
Something like that. We'll figure it out one day, but we're excited, and we're doing it all for you guys, and we're excited that you guys participate, because this is what it's all about, the Platinum Achievement Podcast, people. All right, so for our first topic today, we had Imran's cousin, Ziad. He asked, what is our favorite video game character? And I thought that was a pretty excellent question. Now, Ziad has, if you search YouTube for Potato Gaming, he has some nice videos out there, so if you want to check him out. So shout out to you, sir. He's a super fan, avid listener, and definitely a very good question. I want to bring this to Chris first. Chris, video game characters, what's one that's near and dear to your heart, and why?
That's such a hard question because there's so many characters that I like.
Very difficult. I mean, I thought about it a lot, but I still didn't figure any out.
There's so many, but I'll go with one. I was thinking about what game that I really like the characters of, and one I like the most. And I don't know if any of you remember Day of the Tentacle.
Didn't play it.
That's wicked. They're remastering it actually, so it should be out soon. But yeah, Bernard from Day of the Tentacle, that guy's hilarious. As is Hoagie and Laverne. Those three are just amazing. Like the most amazing trio of like misfits out there. That they stay near and dear to my heart. So funny. When I was young, watching them, that was really cool.
It says here that Day of the Tentacle was originally developed by LucasArts, and this is a 1993 graphic adventure game.
Yeah,
and
right.
It was a sequel to the 1987 game Maniac Mansion.
That's right.
The game's plot follows Bernard Beruli and his friends Hoagie and Laverne as they attempt to stop the evil purple tentacle, a sentient disembodied tentacle, from taking over the world. The player takes control of the three and solves puzzles while using time travel to explore different periods of history. Sounds like a gem, Imran. Great job. If you look at this art, it's like actually hilarious. The tentacle like kind of has legs and he like moves around. It's pretty funny.
It's great. They're remastering it. They announced it last year, I think.
It's
going to come out again.
It's coming out on PlayStation, is that right?
Yeah, on PlayStation.
That's pretty.
You know how they done
cool.
Grim Fandango? They're doing this now. So that's going to be really good. Yeah, it's a point-and-click adventure. It was amazing. It was really like some nice puzzles in there. A lot of nods to history as well. Like you go back in time. A lot of American history as well. So you see like, I don't know who's the dude that chopped down the apple tree. What was that all about? Yeah, him. He's in there. And then there's Benjamin Franklin with his kite and that. Is that right?
Because you're time traveling, so you're running into all these people. Is that right?
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's really good. And then what's the name? Who made the flag? I don't know. You should know American history. I don't know American.
No, not really. I know it. I mean, I know that would be an interesting question. Like the first person, and it's not. Is it the person who made the flag? It was a woman, right?
She knitted the flag.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
My American history is from Day of the Tentacle.
Sorry, Miss whoever who taught me history. I can't even remember my second grade history teacher. Oberwise. Miss Oberwise, shout out to you. And I think you've sadly passed.
It's a really it's a name that's on the tip of your tongue. I can't remember.
Yeah, not sure.
But yeah, Ben Franklin's in there.
B. Arthur. No, that's a Golden Girl. Never mind. Anyway, now that you mention it, I'm going to throw out my favorite video game character. If he's not my favorite because I haven't thought it through enough, then Grim Fandango, Manny Calavera. So, staying in that LucasArts vein. Grim Fandango was just re-released on PlayStation, remastered with better controls. But originally, Grim Fandango was a LucasArts game released in 1998. I did play it on the PC. Tim Schafer is the project leader of that, and it was just such an amazing world. But even his character, and I think that's an important distinction to make, because we can have fun with games, we can have great game experiences, we can love the game worlds we're in, but then the character may not say anything. Like I was talking to you guys off air, I was putting it in one of the chats that I like playing Zelda games, but Link never says anything. Link's amazing. His tools are amazing. The worlds you explore, that sense of adventure, the progression, it's all great, but Link literally just says, yeah, he doesn't do anything. So he has no characterization to him. He may look cool, but there's nothing to it. Now, Manny Calavera, he was just kind of like a regular Joe. It's so cool because in the story, he's like a broker working for bringing people from the afterlife to, I guess it's heaven or something like that. There's a train you have to take to finally cross over from the land of the dead, which is where they're all operating in, and you actually have to physically take a train to heaven, and you gotta sell tickets. So he's like a broker, and it was just the story was funny. I was all about the world that he was in and his job, and he starts off just kind of complaining about his job. You got a boss he hates, and it kind of unravels into this grand story of romance in there, and it's just amazing. And I would say he's an amazing character in himself, and the whole game is filled with amazing characters actually. So I thought that was pretty cool. Did any of that spark something in your mind a little bit, Chris?
I'm not gonna say he's my favorite, but I can say one of my favorite is Dante. Not the reboot one, Dante from the
Devil May Cry
series.
1 and 2?
Devil May Cry
1, 2, and 3, right?
1 and 3. 2, what's 2? 2 doesn't exist.
I like 2. What was wrong with Devil May Cry 2? Okay. Something's wrong with Devil May Cry 2, huh?
Because it's so... He is so sarcastic, and he's so funny, and at the same time, he is this guy who was conflicted with himself because he's a devil, but he actually likes the humans. So, but he shows he doesn't care, but actually he cares. I don't know. He's very sarcastic with his jokes. He's really funny.
Yeah, you're right. He had a lot of personality. You're right.
There's this really funny scene that in Devil May Cry 3 when he's fighting against a big dog, and he makes fun of the dog. He's a huge dog. The Harry Potter. Have you seen Harry Potter, the first movie?
Yes.
There's this three-headed dog.
So Cerebus. I don't know how to say it.
I don't know, but the dog was as big as that, and Dante was like, come here, boy, and it was so funny. I know.
Dante was really cool. I mean, I remember those games, good action. He, like you mentioned, he had a half demon, half angel thing going, and he was conflicted about it. So yeah, he had some backstory. He had a reason to look cool and do what he was doing, and I think that's important. Imran, why don't we go through some of the comments that we got on some of the pages. If you guys want to participate with us in conversations throughout the week, just find the Platinum Achievement Podcast on Facebook. Go ahead and join the open group. It's really good. We got some interesting conversations going there. Some really great people. We keep it positive, and we're there for each other when life happens. I want to stop really quick and give a shout out to a couple people before we move on. Mark Allen, shout out to you, sir. I know you were going through some stuff lately, but we're all really here for you. Joe Ryan, same thing. Joe, super fan, does a lot out there. He has his own videos that are hilarious that he posts on the Facebook group. Thank you very much for keeping it open. He got on the Dub Smash hype train we've all been on it now, and I blame Matt, but basically no one does it like Joe. And, keeps it hilarious. So thank you very much, sir. Another quick shout out before we move on. John Martin, Rob Rinaldi, Emily Jarvis, all you guys, super shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys for listening each and every week. Continuing the conversation about favorite game characters. What did the people have to say, Imran?
Yeah, there was quite a good response to this. A lot of people have some opinions about who they like. I'll start from the top. So we got Josh Brandt from the Life of Gaming podcast. He said Nathan Drake from Uncharted, and yeah, Nathan Drake is a great character. You really root for him. He's really cool. Omid, one of my friends, he agreed with him there with Nathan Drake. We've got Nate Bacon who says he doesn't have one favourite, which is probably true for everyone in a sense. I can't think you can pin down one character who is your ultimate favourite, but suppose you can. Got Crash Bandicoot from my cousin Yassine. He said, Crash Bandicoot, do I really need to give a reason? Is there a reason? No. You don't need a reason for Crash. Got Claptrap from Brian
awesome.
Kluwer. Yeah, Crash is great. Claptrap from Brian Kluwer. He said, I hope he said his surname right. Claptrap is hilarious. He's so funny. Borderlands is great. Chris is one for you. Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. Wouldn't he be up there for you?
No, Cloud is dead.
Cloud is dead?
No, I mean, he has such a dead character in him. I don't know.
I think he was scrutinized for being very solemn and sad and stuff like that.
It's like he's so emo-ish. It's like, lighten up, dude. Smile a bit.
He's emo-ish. I'll tell that to Zach here. And we got our very own Matt who loves Mega Man with loads of exclamation marks. Mega Man. I've got so many here. I'll just quickly go through them. Yeah, so Mega Man is great though. But like you said, someone like Link, he doesn't. Well, they have the little talks, don't they, with Mega Man? But you don't really don't know. Is there much of a story there?
I know. I don't know. Mega Man is a character. I don't know. It's like I don't feel like he has any kind of personality for me.
I think you're right.
And X, he has more personality, but he's more like, oh, good, the justice for the good and evil, blah blah blah. I never felt that he has a real personality. He's a robot, so.
The conversation we were having about Nintendo being the first company to really take us from the age of playing a game to playing as a character. In fact, one of the people who were commenting said that their favorite character was actually the spaceship from Asteroids, Tahoe Arkaman. Arkaman, Nevada. I don't know if that's where he's from, but Tahoe, if that's your name, if I'm pronouncing that right. Great suggestion, because that really takes us someplace. We started out on Atari days playing as these objects, like maybe a machine, something very lifeless, and then Nintendo brought us Donkey Kong, Mario, and then we have, even in that same era, we got a lot of Nintendo characters that looked like something. They were a plumber or an animal. Star Fox comes to mind. And I think they never evolved. They were vibrant and they were kind of animated, but it stopped right there. They didn't really have a whole lot of, backstory. Like Mario, he's, I guess, brave, but he just keeps going after the same girl, but he can never hold her down. Every new game, somehow they're not together. So I don't know if he's not treating her right. Is she, running her lip? Is she do they get together as a breakup to make up thing, and they just are constantly having short-term things going on, and they never had a baby, so I don't know what's going on. I mean, well, Baby Mario's a thing. Was Baby Mario Mario's son? Or was Baby
No,
Mario
I
small
don't
He,
Mario?
think
he
so.
was
I don't
Mario
think
as a
so.
Are
baby.
you
He was
sure from
Mario as
Yoshi's
a baby.
Island? Yoshi's
Yeah.
Island. Are you sure? Did they explain this? I gotta look it up.
No,
Anyway,
Nintendo, they don't explain, the personalities
Anything.
or anything. They're so lifeless. It's like they're fun to play as, but they have no personality. I know the only thing I know about Mario as personality goes is he has woohoo! It's me, Mario. He's an Italian plumber and fat guy with a mustache. That's
he
it.
loves his job.
And
That's all I really
yeah,
know. You know what I mean? Like
he doesn't even do his job. He doesn't. I have never
he's
played a
in the
Mario
pipes. He's
game.
collecting the coins and taking them out of the pipes. Because how can
Oh, really?
water
When a
get
plumber
in the?
comes to your house, when he fixes your
Yeah, he
pipes, he
takes my
collects.
money and he leaves.
But you pay him with coins. You pay him with coins.
He takes whatever. I'm not saying, you know. Anyway,
Yeah, so the thing about Mario, and we'll move on to Sonic as well soon. They've got their own TV shows, haven't they? Super Mario Brothers TV show, the cartoon.
Oh, that was so
They
bad.
have, yeah, but then loads of kids watch those things, and they do expand on his personality there, like him and his brother and Peach, and loads of people like Toad as well. Like they love Toad.
Well, if you're saying that if you're gonna characterize give him personality based on those shows, then Link is an He's a. He is. Have you seen the animation of Link? Excuse me, princess. He's such a.
Yeah, he's a bit weird, isn't it? Like,
he's such a in that show. No. I just blocked them out. It's like block. Doesn't exist.
after Nintendo, you have a lot of characters coming out of like the Sega age, and
Yeah.
all they really did was say, "Hey, these characters are edgier. These characters are a little funnier. These characters are a little outside the box." Like you got like Earthworm Jim ended up having like a
I love
Sega
Earthworm
game.
Jim.
I mean, it was good, and then Sonic, of course, he is like, I eat chili dogs and like all the cartoons, and then like nowadays he's like a total softie. I was just watching some weird Sonic cartoon, but basically they were all just edgier, and that was it. And they're still not fleshed out in my opinion. It's just here's a character. It kind of serves the purpose that you're gonna run around and hey, you have super speed, so you're a hedgehog, and it kind of goes from there. But there's nothing to like drive the story. I don't think not until you get into the PlayStation era. Do we see characters with it was a lot more adult gaming in a sense where the stories were more fleshed out. These characters were like going through things like pain or joy. They had like families. I think I would want to say that a character from the Metal Gear series would be my favorite, but technically you don't play as the same person a lot. You go from like you're Solid Snake, but then it's like Big Boss, which ended up being like Naked Snake, which ended up being like it's never really the same guy. You're just like a genetic clone, and he's always the same, like I'm gonna kill them all eventually, let me smoke a cigarette. And like even him, he's like more confused. If anything, he seems like kind of weird. You go to the advanced era, and then we start going to like Nico Bellic in Grand Theft Auto. You start
Nico
going
Bellic.
to Nico Bellic. I don't know why I say Belichick. It's like a hockey thing. But Nico, he was a psycho, but they really fleshed him out. Even in GTA 5, all three of the characters very
Trevor.
fleshed out. People
Trevor is
love
awesome.
Trevor. You see, Trevor was like the off the rails one, but then you have everyone else who had motivations for doing things like a family or just kind of surviving the streets. And it was deep. It's been deep, and it's getting deeper. A lot of people were mad that Laura and the Tomb Raider reboot went from, they really tried to make it in the beginning where she didn't want to kill anyone. It was her first time exploring in true danger where her life was threatened, and then she was going to get assaulted basically and kill somebody, and the game goes from there. And people were ragging on it, saying she was afraid to kill somebody, and then 5 seconds later you murder like 50 people. But at least they tried, right? I mean, isn't that what we want?
Yeah.
I don't understand what people are actually upset about that. When you're in a situation of survival, it's gonna or I'm gonna die or he's gonna die. In the end, you're gonna pick yourself. And after, I think she cries after killing her first person, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Then she was like in a place where like that's it. They are trying to kill me. I have to kill them back, or I'm gonna die. It's a survival thing. No, I really like that. I really like that they started Lara Croft from scratch and how they developed her from this really scared girl to becoming this really strong woman. No, I like that. I don't know why people
Yeah, that was
are
really good. Yeah,
complaining
the
about
progression of Lara Croft
that.
was
Yeah,
quite good. In the,
her development character in the game was really good.
yeah, it was good. And we've had a few people mention Sonic, and the same thing with the TV shows. The Sonic TV shows have had a lot of they've had a lot of legs to go on. I know a lot of children these days still love Sonic, and you can still buy Sonic toys. More so than Mario, they buy Sonic toys, and you can go Toys R Us and things like that, and Sonic is there. Get Sonic T-shirts, Sonic all sorts, and people love Sonic. And the iOS games, Sonic iOS games, people love those. And yeah, so Sonic's still got its legs still going, but I've had there's a few people, Azar, Hamza, and Frank Clark. He said honorable mention to Sonic and Tails, Amy, and Knuckles. It's the whole crew. People love those guys. But I think, like you said, once it got into the PlayStation era, then they started fleshing out the characters more. Do you think maybe they weren't able to? That's why.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a limitation, but I would argue that in the Nintendo era, if you look at the Final Fantasies, people love those first couple titles, especially 4, 6, and those characters had a deep backstory. They had motivations. There was betrayal. I think it's not. There were limitations, obviously, based on the graphics and what you can do, the bits. Like they had limitations, but at the same time, if you really tried, I think great stories with great characters are synonymous. If you had a really great story, then you kind of had to have really great characters, or vice versa. If you wanted to flesh out a character, you could say, okay, why is this person existing? And you kind of go from there, and a story kind of envelops the whole thing. So it's got to be hand in hand. So when you look at these games that we mentioned, like Grim Fandango, it's all about the story. Final Fantasy, a lot of it's about the story. Grand Theft Auto, it's mindless action, but the reason that Grand Theft Auto is way better than what is it? The one where you're the president, the Saints Row.
Saints Row, yeah.
They kind of tried, and they had some great story ones, but then this last one, it's just like, how do we quickly get you to mindless fun?
That's what the game was. Yeah.
You're the president. It's an alien invasion. Like, they kind of gave it up because they're like, Rockstar got it covered. We can do action. We can do action well. But the story, the one thing that makes it a masterpiece is that they really try to put the story in there. You guys played Hotline Miami?
Yeah, I love Hotline Miami.
There's a story there. There's actually a really crazy...
Yeah, it's really deep and weird and strange. Yeah,
it takes you somewhere, and I think that's important. Knights of the Old Republic, any Star Wars thing, the lore and the backstory and who you are... I mean, the second they throw you in as a Jedi, it doesn't matter which Jedi you are, you know all the story that has that backup to it. So whatever story they tell specifically, you have this great deep backstory automatically attached to you, automatically attached to the universe and to the Jedi. So automatically that's cool. So I think it's really interesting.
I've got a great comment from Frank Clark. This was probably my favourite comment that we received. I'll read it out word for word. So he said, "I'll never forget the moment I defeated the Mother Brain in Metroid for the first time, and Samus, is how you say her name, was revealed to be a woman, a badass chick. I just thought it was the coolest thing at the time. I don't remember ever having any other major titles that had a strong female protagonist. So I guess for me, since I have such a strong memory and connection to that character, because of that, I'd pick her as my favourite." And that's a Nintendo character.
Yeah,
we're talking about who apparently don't flesh out their characters. So that was my favourite comment because he gave a good sort of, it's his personal connection to that, which makes him his favourite, which is really nice to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big deal. She's a woman, like, whoa, wasn't it? Like, especially at that time, it was a big deal.
I have to mention Duke Nukem. I cannot not mention Duke Nukem.
Does it remind you of yourself, Chris?
Yeah, kinda. I remember as a kid playing Duke Nukem. I'm not gonna be like 100% sure, but I think like he's Duke Nukem because of the catchphrases like "Now you see me, now you're dead," or it's like "It's my way" or "Hell, it's my way." Stuff. His catchphrase is really funny, and I remember when you go to this strip club. And these ladies, they're like, they are wearing clothes, so if you want them to take off their clothes, just give them money. I don't know, it's a really funny game. I really like that game, but the new one is bad. It's really
Oh, it's
We'll,
really
we'll call
bad. I
that
don't know
a
what they
cult
did.
classic. Right here we have from Games Radar. No, The Richest. www.therichest.com. 10 most iconic video game characters of all time. I kind of picked these at random just to see what different people's lists look like. We're going to give a quick thumbs up, thumbs down to what we think. He has number 10 as Pikachu. Pika Pika.
thumbs down. He has no character.
You know what?
And the
Surprisingly, a
anime
lot of
he
character.
does. And
Surprisingly.
in the anime he does, yes, but in the game, no, he doesn't. He just like he is my slave who just
Follows you around in
tell him what
Pokemon
to
Yellow
do.
because
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like
yeah.
backpack.
Yeah, he is my slave. I tell him attack, he does it. That's
Man,
it.
love Pokemon Yellow. I freaked out when Pikachu would follow you
Yeah,
around. I
that
was
was so
like,
cool.
yes, yes.
I mean, yes,
Such a big deal.
you check on him every time. He'll be like sad, and then you level him up. He becomes happy. Then after you see hearts on top of his head. Yeah, but I mean that's not the character.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he has a very limited speech, but he's all good. I've watched a decent amount of the cartoons, and they go pretty deep with it. I mean, he's just he's loyal.
Like that.
Anime-
Like
Pikachu
again,
is
it's the
loyal.
cartoons is there. That
And
make
anime,
the
yes,
character.
I'm with you 100%, but in the game, no.
Yeah, Pikachu's a loyal slave.
It's an
Number
iconic
9,
character.
number 9, we have Sephiroth. Now, Sephiroth is a enemy, which is interesting. That we're going to talk about enemies in our next topic, but definitely a crazily fleshed out character. It was pretty deep. What do you guys think of Sephiroth? I mean, everybody loves him.
Yeah, big character. He's even in Kingdom Hearts as well. He's one of the best bad guys of all time, I think.
Definitely, he's got to be. You just wanted to kill him, and we won't
exactly.
spoil why. We won't spoil why. But you had a lot of motivation to hate him. Number 8, he has Link. Link from Zelda games.
Yeah, Link.
I know. I know why. Link, I mean, he has no character. He is a guy. Do you know how, when I think about Link, he is this guy who wants to have some Zelda, he wants to taste Zelda, and he goes in people's houses and break pots. That's it.
Yeah, he's kind
That's
of a
how I know.
jerk. That's
Yeah.
known. That's pretty much known.
But I think a lot of people's connection to Link is the journey they've had with him. Like, I've got Rich Amison on the
Well,
chat. He said Ocarina of Time Link. That was my best time with Link as well. Ocarina of Time. It's just the journey you have with him is something else. He doesn't even need to talk. It's just like you go on this adventure with him, and it's the connection that you can build there is pretty awesome. Nintendo are good at that.
If you accomplish a lot as your character, then you really feel like it was a good character, but it was more like you doing it. So, you kind of get through like an amazing final battle, and like it's going to stick with you. Like the journey, it's all about that journey. So I definitely put him in that character where it's more about what you're doing as opposed to your personality.
Yeah, because I was thinking of the Yharnam Hunter in Bloodborne. I was like, that guy, I love the Yharnam Hunter, but there's nothing to him. Like, what does he do? Like, but it's just amazing. I love that character just because of who you are and the journey you go with him. And when you kill a bad guy in Bloodborne, it's the best feeling ever. Like,
You're
it really
persistent.
But
You won't quit.
you're saying the journey is the story. It's not the character.
Well, you can love the character you are. Like if you look at Mass Effect, they really flesh out your character in a lot of ways. Like you have a lot of conversations with other characters, and you get to choose kind of who you are. But in the end, you love your character and you love the story. So yeah, it's kind of like hand in hand. I think it's fair to say you're going to get a lot of that and say, I really love this character, but 90% of it is linked to the game that you played, the actual gameplay, the actual experience, as opposed to your physical thing. Some people just go that route. This guy is number 7 as Solid Snake. Again, you're Solid Snake, I think, only for one game. I mean, maybe 2 if I'm not mistaken, but Metal Gear Solid was an amazing game and pretty fleshed out character. I mean, even in that one slice. To me, you're always Solid Snake in the back of my mind. I know you're not, but I kind of feel like the same guy. Yeah,
Snake. We had a few people mention, we got Faisal, Riaz and Rehan, they said Solid Snake is their favourite character. I think it's just because he's damn cool. He's a pretty cool character. He's a badass and
He smokes in some early games and then he quits smoking, right? Don't you give him like Nicorette instead of cigarettes or something?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, one of the games.
It's pretty crazy. Number 6, we have Master Chief. I like Cortana way more than Master Chief himself.
Master Chief has the character. Doesn't he like grunts all the time?
Yeah, he grunts. And I've never read the books, but I expect that there's more to him. When you hear about his transformation, his backstory, it's basically saying he's like, he had to have a strong human like will to like survive and like strength that was not augmented, and that's how they were able to augment him. That he kind of just survived it all. One of the lone survivors of the whole Spartan program. So that's pretty cool. But you know, Chris, you played Halo 4?
Yes, I did.
Did you like the Cortana Master Chief story?
No.
Really?
That was the best story, I think.
Yeah, it was the best. I mean, I really liked it. It gave me a reason to care. I cried a little bit.
Maybe I would have liked the story, but I just didn't care anymore because the gameplay was so boring. I
can stop you liking the character.
I felt like I was playing the same level the whole game. I don't know why.
No, you're right. I really didn't like the campaign. The enemies.
I mean, you might be right. You might be right. The story might be good, but I just couldn't focus anymore. I just couldn't care.
Chris, what about
the gameplay was so boring me.
Chris, what about your man Geralt from The Witcher?
Yes, Geralt is awesome. Geralt is the G.L.A.D.O. of the Witcher world.
By the way, guys, it's midnight and it's 12:30 a.m. in the UK. And what time is it with you, Chris?
It's 2:30.
2:30 a.m. So if Chris says some strange things, you know why.
These guys are half asleep. We're doing a later recording than normally. We already talked about number 5 on this list. That's Lara Croft. She's had a lot of good games, and you know they've really tried to make her more of all the action characters. I think they really tried to start with a person in these last few outings and kind of say, okay, now it's a person becoming that warrior, and I think that's pretty cool. Number 4 is Sonic. Again, I don't know why. I mean, I guess.
He's an iconic, a lot of
he's
nostalgia.
Iconic.
Nostalgia,
yeah.
That's it.
Number 3, Gordon Freeman. Again, one that doesn't say anything.
Half-Life.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Gordon Freeman.
Wait, wasn't there breaking news?
Exactly,
Halo, Half-Life 3 will never happen?
I mean, it's not news.
They've been saying that for ages. So
it's been obvious for ages. Come on, if Half-Life 3 would have come out, it would have already been come out. And people should just wake up and smell reality. It's not gonna happen, guys. Half-Life 3 will never happen.
I don't understand why they wouldn't just release something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just something. Like an MMO and just call it Half-Life 3 and let people make their own game. Do something safe like that. You know what I mean?
Because Half-Life has this... they changed the way the FPS... works, and Valve has this quality that they don't like to lose. I don't think there is a Valve game that isn't amazing. I don't think so, because they were working on Half-Life 3 by episode 3, but they didn't release it because they felt that this isn't revolutionary. We don't feel like this is gonna make consumers go insane about it. So just like we had these 2 amazing games, everybody loved it, was revolutionary, let's keep it that way. I don't want to stain the name. They don't want to stain the name Half-Life.
That makes some sense.
That's what I feel like.
Yeah. On this list here we have Pac-Man and then Super Mario. I think people just like these. Again, they're more iconic. This list is more iconic, but
everyone knows them.
Yeah, fleshed out characters. We're getting into this era where it's important to connect. Even Master Chief is like very violent. In this last iteration in Halo 4, they try to make him a person and really kind of dig deep into his motivations, give him emotions. And he doesn't express them, but they do a good job in storytelling of letting you know that they're there. So very interesting to me. So I would say that I enjoy playing as Master Chief, and he's another one where you just kind of feel this big sense of accomplishment when you know, solo legendary any of the campaigns. It's like, yes, this, I am that super soldier, and I think they give you a good experience along the way. So that's really good.
But like you said, you feel like you are the super soldier. You don't feel like that you're experiencing him as a super soldier. Because because he doesn't really, I don't know, does he has a personality a lot? I feel like he's very patriotic, he's very save the people, I protect the
Selfless. He's
weak,
very
whatever.
selfless.
Yeah, but I never felt like he has this unique personality in it. Like he doesn't have any humor, he doesn't he gets sad, he just angry all the time, because something exploded, some people died, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I said Brian Clue mentioned Claptrap. My wife mentioned Handsome Jack because he's so freaking handsome.
Yes.
Every character in Borderlands is great. Like they're all amazing.
Exactly.
Every single one.
Gearbox.
From Scooter to they've done such a good job. Another big one was got Wajida, my friend. She said E Honda with his slapper hands, and my friend Azza said Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat and Dalsin from Street Fighter. These I should mention some people from Tekken as well. Like even Jin Kazama, he was one of my favorites when I was younger, and Hwarang as well.
Yes.
In the fighting genre, there's some characters which you really love, and they become your favorite characters because you're always them as well. So they're quite close to a lot of people, and I love Tekken 3 at the end when you complete the story and you watch a little video about the little life, what they're doing and stuff. That was really interesting. I love Tekken 3 was probably the best Tekken game, and. With fighting games, beat 'em ups in general, they've got really deep backstories as well. Like Mortal Kombat, there's a lot of lore, and there's films and all sorts of stuff. Even TV series as well. No, I'm just saying in general, like fighting games, beat 'em ups, they tend to have a lot of character development, but you don't really see it. It's really weird how they show it. Like they'll have a video at the end or a little. Like I remember in fighting games in general, you used to get a manual, and in the manual you used to say like a little biography of each character. Like I remember like Jin Kazama was like this, Heihachi was like this. And it's pretty cool. Like I used to really like learning about those characters. Then the Tekken film came out, and then I cried. So that was terrible. Did you watch that film? That was such.
Which one? There's one. There's one with I think the main character is Jim, right? Jim.
Yeah, that's all.
And there's another one where the main character is. Wait. Oh no! It's one movie.
Yeah, just one movie.
It's one movie. Okay.
Like Liu Kang from the Mortal Kombat film. Mortal Kombat 1 was wicked. Liu Kang was so cool when he kills Shang Tsung. Spoiler.
The only thing I liked about Liu Kang, which I got really upset because it wasn't in Mortal Kombat 9, when he does his bicycle kick, he does his... He doesn't do that in Mortal Kombat 9. I was like really upset. Please patch this. I really I actually do that move just to listen Liu Kang do.
It's DLC. You got to pay $4.99 and he'll make that move.
I was hooked on the Mortal Kombat animated TV series. I don't know if any of you seen that.
No, I haven't.
Amazing. It was really, really good. I was watching Fox Kids. I don't know, like that's what it was here.
Fox Kids.
Yeah, it was really good. I said love that. They had Baraka, and it was wicked. And they had Mortal Kombat Conquest. Mortal Kombat had a lot of things going.
No, but, the animation was really bad. They made Sonya Blade.
I love the story.
They made Sonya Blade such an idiot because every single episode she does barge into the fight. We're like, no, Sonya, wait. You have to think before fighting, and she just barges in. She got her ass kicked, and every single time they save her. I don't know. The story, the characters, and they were like one-liner characters.
They were, but Johnny Cage was one of those, isn't it? He had a good one.
Yeah.
What does he say? Yeah. To Goro, this is what you fought, and he just hits him in the balls and that.
And the new Mortal Kombat, he has more character because he has now a family.
Yes.
And they made Sonya Blade look like, the bad person, and I don't know why they pick on Sonya Blade.
So, like, imagine Mortal Kombat. You can watch on YouTube just the stories of the games. So the last 2 games, you can just watch the stories. Like, it's like a movie. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
So there's a lot going there. And then Justin Hingle said Kane and Lynch and he said he gave a link to the reveal trailer. But Kane and Lynch were cool. I don't know so much about the game, but they were pretty cool.
I just remember Dexter is so funny.
Yeah, Dexter's good.
Yeah, Jack and Dexter. He's really funny.
There's too many characters. There's so many.
Yeah.
Like, but I can't think of my favorite.
My cousin Raymond says Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil
Oh.
2. Well, that was the first appearance, I
Leon
believe, was
Kennedy.
Resident Evil 2, so he was awesome. And then Chris DeFranco says Mega Man, specifically Mega Man X. No one's better.
Yeah, Mega Man.
I actually found an interesting character in one of these lists, and it's G.L.A.D.O.S from Portal 1 and 2. So
Yes.
she was amazing, and you really wanted to beat her. It was kind of this I'm your friend, I'm your enemy thing going on the whole time. And then in part 2, when you spoiler alert, when she's
She
back,
becomes the potato.
oh man, it's just it was hilarious, and I loved that game, and she drove the game. And similar to like Claptrap, how he is your funny companion for
he's the
a
best.
lot, and he kind of hands it off to other funny companions, but then he comes back. Those games are like great because you have that thing, that comic relief, that great story character, and I think G.L.A.D.O.S deserves definitely a top spot on the list. Thank you everybody who decided to share their opinions on best game character. I think this sparked a very good conversation, but I think next time I'd like to go into best video game story ever to kind of like
That'd be
take
good,
it
yeah.
into that realm. And I think I'd really like specifically to talk about The Last of Us. I am playing The Last of Us. I am about 2-3 hours in, but going slow because I kind of try to like not I try to kind of
finding
I
it?
search
How
every
you finding
corner. I really like it. I mean, the more I play, the better it is. The more intense it gets, and I think it's bread and butter. Those moments where you really feel like you're gonna die because you can die so easily.
They've got really fleshed out characters. Like the whole story is really deep, but then
I'm
I'll never
dying
say
for
they're
that.
my
I'm not
favorite.
there yet. So far, they're just like,
It's a long
let's
game.
go do this. Yeah. So I mean, I'm really looking forward to it getting a little more fleshed out. Definitely. Give me
Did
one
you
second,
cry
guys. In the first little part where you're supposed to cry, I didn't cry. Sorry, my dog's going crazy on a chew toy. Can you stop Bear from chewing on the chew toy, please?
Bear, stop.
He's like, ruff, ruff, ruff. Yeah, but no, I didn't cry
He's
at
happy.
that first part that you're supposed to cry at. I mean, I'll tell you what, right now, before we get into it next time, is that they did a really good job of making me feel like you were killing people, like humans, because in the first segments of the game, it's like, okay, here's society, it's, here's it kind of breaking down, and here's here's you all of a sudden killing people, and it's like, wow, that's intense. I don't know if it's the animation or the backstory, but they did a really good job of making me feel like, man, I'm killing people. Like, this isn't cool. Like, I'm insane, or I'm a gritty, hardened survivor, and I think they did a really good job of that. For our next topic today, we want to talk about something that my fiance brought up to me yesterday. She said, being good and evil in games. A couple things to this. First, are we fans of the good and evil in games where you're given a choice to play as where you can be the good guy or the bad guy? Mass Effect in that vein. And then the other thing is, which one do we choose? Do we choose good or evil? And then finally, she was wondering, wouldn't it be cool if there was a game where you're the villain? And a lot. When you go a little deeper into what she was asking, it's not kind of like she brought up Suicide Squad. It's more like, okay, kind of the idea of you are a bad guy, but you're still doing good stuff. They're gonna have them do something good, like for the government, like running ops that are in the end gonna help people. But what if you were the enemy and you were just the evil one? Like, you're looking to destroy the earth, and if you win, you destroy the earth. She's wondering, has that ever been a game, and would you guys like to play something like that? So let's start from the top. We'll start with you, Imran. Good and evil in games. Do you like it?
Yeah, it's cool. Obviously, the game that springs to mind is obviously Infamous, which was great. The thing is, I felt like I played that game twice through. I played it once as good and then as bad. I just don't feel like it added much to the whole. You get different powers and things. The Infamous is sort of like as he levels up and you choose your path between good or evil. It's he gets different sort of skill sets and things, which is pretty cool. But the story kind of stays the same, to be honest. I really wish, like, it's kind of hard in games, but they should have like a whole different set of stories, like for a whole different route. but you sort of end in the same place all the time, which I find a bit annoying, to be honest. But generally, I tend to choose the good side. Is it in Fallout? Is it Fallout where you can do the similar thing? You can choose.
There's a
between good and
karma.
evil?
There's like
Yeah, the
negative.
karma thing. Yeah,
There's
I
negative
was
and
always
positive karma.
Yeah, see, I like that because it really affected your gameplay a lot. Like, you're like, oh, I need to keep my karma good so I can get enough points and stuff. But generally, yeah, I go for the good side. And it's something that I would like in games. I just feel like, what was that game? It came out recently on PC. It was kind of like, it was meant to be banned and you sort of killing people and murder. What it's called? Something like Hatred. Yeah, is that what it's called? Are you a bad guy in that? What's the deal with that game?
Yeah, you're a psychopath who just kill random people. That's it.
This is a PC game?
Yeah, it's meant to be banned. Like, there was a big thing about it.
Yeah,
That's
his person is
interesting.
like he hates everything, so he wants to kill everything. I mean, like, I don't. It's like people were so upset about it. Oh no, what is this game? He is a psychopath. He is whatever. It's like, I don't care. It's a fantasy world, and I didn't buy the game because it didn't look interesting to play it. But it's like I didn't hated the game because you just kill people because you can do that in GTA.
I never played through Manhunt, but what was that about? Were you a bad guy in that? It seemed like you were a bad guy. I don't know. I never played Manhunt. I know there's a big deal about it. Like, in the UK, they were like, oh, Manhunt influenced some guy to kill someone. I was like, no, it didn't.
Here's the thing about these choices, which I never ever felt like there were choices. Sure, it's like you picked, you could, pick a really bad choice like kill somebody or, you picked some side or the other side, but I never felt like the ending always felt the same. Like in Mass Effect, you always had to save the Earth, the planet Earth, because it didn't change. You don't change the plot at the end. Sure, it might happen something to your friends or to some NPCs, but the end is always the same. I think because there's a limitation to that, because they cannot make a game which has two different stories, which the end will be like you exploding the whole planet Earth, or another end of the story where you save the planet Earth. That's why I don't know. These choices, it doesn't make sense for me to pick the evil side because you're still gonna do something good at the end, so I just stay with the good side.
Yeah. It goes to the most interesting part of Christina's statement or question, is that what if in the end you could end the world or you can destroy the whatever? I mean, these days the scope of a lot of the plots is end of the universe, you know what I mean? Or, all known reality is doomed. Instead of something smaller, the scale, the stakes, for some reason, all these games have to go with the top of the line ultra destruction, which, it'd be great if like the point of a game would be to like save just your house or just your school or just whatever, from destruction, or just a relationship even. That would be kind of cool spin. But I agree that a lot of these games may give you a moral choice, but in the end you kind of end up in the same position. I mean, even Mass Effect, you would do things that would affect Game 1, and then your save would export to Mass Effect 2, and then you'd figure out what happened with that character. So I think that was a little bit more advanced, where it's like, okay, you make this decision to spare this person's life or not, and then you can see what ends up happening later. It's going to affect things later, which I think is really interesting when they do a little bit more. If you look at the choices, I mean, again, they try to make them not good or evil, but ambiguous in the Walking Dead, Telltale games. A lot of choices, and no one's really there to tell you which one's good or evil. It's just do your best. You have limited information. You have a limited amount of time. You're in action. What are you going to do? And then you kind of see what's going to happen later. And it's interesting. I like that more than the clean-cut good or evil, because in the end, they can't promise you a clean-cut good or evil. It's going to, again, pretty much end up in the same spot. So I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's more like they don't tend to do it from a moral standpoint. They're like trying to refrain from things like that because they get a lot of grief for like putting things out there which are a bit like on the edge. Because even this game, like I said, Hatred, where it got a lot of grief for just being a bit weird and like promoting. It wasn't promoting anything. It was just like a dude who just killing people, which happens in loads of games. Like you kill more people in Call of Duty, most likely. But it's just more from a moral standpoint. I think people feel like, what does it say about themselves as a person if they were to choose, say, instead of playing Halo, I like to play one where I just kill everyone and destroy the world. Like, I don't know. It's more of a moral choice there that people might question. I'm not sure. Yeah. It's an interesting. It'd be great if they did games like that, but I don't know how well they do in the sort of in the public.
You are right. Some games will say this is good or evil, and some will say now they're getting into this is kind of either or. It's just one or the other. The Witcher has a lot of choices that affect the universe once you do. I mean, not the universe, but the whole the land or the world that you're in. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think you were the furthest into it, Chris. Did you beat it?
No, I'm trying to platinum. It's taking really a lot of time.
200 hours.
Gotta dedicate yourself, bro.
Yeah, I'm stuck playing this other game because I have to review it, and it's anyway. When the review is out, you'll know. So I want to talk about The Walking Dead. You're talking about The Walking Dead. Spoilers in season 1. I'm gonna say spoilers. No matter what decision you take.
Wait. Hold on. Wait. Give me 1 second. What are you gonna spoil right now?
Have you finished, Antonio?
Wait. What are you gonna spoil?
The ending of season 1.
No.
You haven't played it yet?
No.
Have you?
Oh,
I still got one more. What's that called? Chapter.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, not yet. Next time.
But Chris, I know what you're saying. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, but doesn't matter what you pick, that is going to happen no matter what. Because if that didn't happen, it has to go in season 2. So they have to make in a way that everybody has to play season 1. And season 2 will make sense.
Yes. The major plot points remain.
The major plot point, like you said. And if they did that, let's say that thing happened or didn't happen, and season 2 they have to make 2 different stories, or they'll do just a cheap way out. So they just make it happen. That didn't happen season 1. I don't know. This doesn't make sense because you're not letting me say whatever I want to say.
Soon all will be spoiled.
So,
I like the Telltale games are good in a sense that they do take into account your choices, but like Chris said, at the end of the day, it's the same thing. But season 2 had a little bit of a different ending for a lot of people because you get to choose.
Yeah.
Like you get to choose what you end up with, really.
But in season 3, they're gonna make it. Yeah, and season 3, I bet you in the first episode, doesn't matter if you end up there or if you end up the other way, you're gonna go to the same direction. Something is gonna happen, you're gonna go to the same place.
Because you have to control that same character, so it's always the same. Like, you do.
You're limited in games because if you really, let's say you had a game and you can choose to go to one continent or another, and then you'd split, there's a lot of resources that would have to be dedicated to you going to this other location. Or maybe there's a character that you never meet if you don't make this one choice, and then if you do, then you get to meet this character and you spend a lot of time with them, and maybe they have spoken dialogue and they had to get this voice actor. So it would be a big choice for a game company to invest in too much that you wouldn't see doing both choices. So you got to kind of share those assets. So it's an interesting problem. I think what you were saying was interesting about you made your choice based on your abilities that you get. That's why you did 2 playthroughs of Infamous. And I think one of the games that did this the best was Knights of the Old Republic. We knew that you were going to have a skill tree, and that's what you really made your choice on. You said, okay, if I go down this path, let's look at the choke thing I'm going to be able to do. Or if you go down the enlightened path, the light side of the force, you're going to be able to do, these mind games on people and all that. And, I always play the light side. It just has something to do with my nature. I just can't do the evil stuff. And I always do it. And rarely do I do a second playthrough. And I am kind of disappointed because sometimes the evil stuff just seems cooler. Like, for some reason, the evil powers are like snap somebody's neck with your mind, and the good powers are like, hey, you can break $1 into 4 quarters, no problem. You know what I mean? It's like boring. And it's... I don't know. I mean, I guess that's just the nature of what games are doing. but it'd be nice if it kind of equaled out. Somebody online on one of the forums said, in Oblivion you made choices, but none that affect the ending. You can affect what factions you supported or belong to in the game, and that would open up deeper storylines similar to the Thieves Guild, Dark Brotherhood, things like that. So you can choose who to be. I think in those games, though, you can end up becoming a faction leader in all of them. You could be head of the Thieves Guild, head of the Dark Brotherhood. So it opened up a lot of storylines. So it wasn't like closed off to you. But definitely, if you choose to be part of it or do certain things, they had a lot of story elements in some of those Elder Scroll games. Though obviously, that's really big on choice and what you do, who you spare, who you kill and don't kill. So yeah.
So with Infamous, I like what they've done at the end though. Don't want to spoil anything, but they wrapped it up in a good way. The whole good, bad, the choices thing, and why he has those choices, and what was sort of motivating him to do everything. So that was nice how they wrapped up the story. But in a sense, obviously, like I said, it's the same ending. So although they've done well with the story there, they just don't know.
Yeah, T-Bone, you should finish games so I can, spoil things.
Well, I have to finish The Last of Us and BioShock Infinite and The Walking Dead. So those 3 are next. Hold me to it. Push me to do it. Don't let me turn into a what's his name? You know who I'm talking about.
No.
Who didn't finish Final Fantasy X?
Jesse White.
Jesse White. Don't let me be a Jesse White. Don't let me white it up.
Don't let me. Yeah, that's gonna be a thing. Don't white it up. Yeah.
Don't white it up.
Like that.
One of the things that I'd like to talk about on another show is the best video game endings ever, because that kind of takes us to this whole thing where we really wish that our choices affected games. So when we do talk best video game endings ever, I want to see how much they put the endings in our hands. A lot of games have 50 endings, or you talk about games that have the best ending or the good ending and the not so good ending, depending on how much completion percentage you get. I heard that Batman has a few endings. Is that true? Can anybody confirm that?
Yes,
it has 2 endings. It has 2 endings, right? No, I'm not gonna. I was gonna do the platinum, but I was like, there's 200 and whatever riddle trophies. Like
the trophies. Yeah,
it's too much. I'm just gonna watch. Yeah, if you want the true ending, you have to do everything and the game. No. I'm gonna skip that and just watch it on YouTube.
Wow.
There's a lot of games out there with choices like Heavy Rain and things like that, but they're not about good and evil.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we fans of the choices? Do you like this, Chris? Talk to me. Heavy Rain.
Yes. Heavy Rain. You just reminded me. Heavy Rain maybe is one of the only game that the end will actually, it's gonna be the same thing, but it changes a lot because the main character might die, he might not die. Yes. The main character's son might die, he might not die. This girl, I forgot her name, she might die or not, and it changes the ending a lot, and there's so many endings. Yes. Heavy Rain is one of the few games that actually matters with choices. Not like
it's a special game.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Until Dawn as well. That's got a lot of choices and stuff. So that's a really good game as well. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to play out. Because I love those games. Once you're dead, you're dead. The character's dead and the story carries on. It's really interesting. But it's not about good and evil though. It's just about playing the story, which is different maybe.
I think choice is great, and I find myself like in the games that allow you to pause, because Walking Dead doesn't, but a lot of times they let you sit and think. Like in Mass Effect, they let you sit and think about, should I do this, should I not? I know that was definitely one that I had 2 saves when I decided to save the Quarian race or let them, get destroyed. Like, yeah. I played through
Spoilers!
Both. No, well, I mean, no, it happens no matter what.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a choice. I don't know. I guess it's a spoiler. Maybe. I apologize. But when they stop and let you think, I'll sit there. I'll look it up. I'll like Google, what do I do with this? What do I do with that? Sometimes there's just those choices that are so good it makes you really stop and think, and they're ambiguous and they're not good or evil. So I'm like, I don't know, what do I do? How is this going to affect things? And in Mass Effect, it really does. Love Mass Effect, and I love the way that they do things. It may have flaws, but lots of choices. They had 3 main endings to the whole trilogy.
There was the same ending.
No, they were tweaked. They were a little different.
The same
a little bit.
ending. You know the difference ending was red color, green color, and was it blue color?
It was color coded at the end. I think that hurt them. If they would have dropped the colors, I think everything would have been fine. Chris would have been happy.
It was the same ending. It was exactly the same ending.
No spoilers, but it was a very similar ending, yeah.
The difference is Shepard goes in that color or another color or another different color. That's it.
That's what it was.
That was the ending.
If you go to gamingwikia.com, that's gamingwikia.com, they have a list here of games and the number of endings. I'm just going to go through a couple. There's a very big list. Star Ocean Second Evolution had over 100 endings. That was an action RPG. Star Ocean Second Story, which was actually came out before Second Evolution, that had 87 endings. A lot of these are cheating. It's like Blaze Blue and fighting games, and they say that there's an ending for every character, like Tekken.
Yes.
So that's not true. I mean, not in my book. Fallout 2, 47 endings. What do we else we got here? The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, 36 endings.
That's interesting.
We have.
But how different are the endings though?
Yeah, it doesn't really say. I mean, I know for a fact that some of these are significant. Fallout New Vegas had 33 endings.
Because Fallout 3 had a few different endings, but it was like it's just like the way he speaks at the end. He says something different. I was like, all right, cool. So what's happening there?
Chrono Trigger had 18 endings. Heavy Rain had 18 endings. The Witcher 2 had 16 endings. Final Fantasy V had 15 endings. Resident Evil had 13 endings. I don't know. I don't remember
Witcher
that.
2 I felt like was 2 endings, but
with some little variations.
That's what they do. Yeah.
What else
That's
we got?
Good list, though.
Metroid Fusion, 11 endings. This is where it probably gets a little bit more true. Final Fantasy IV, 11 endings, because, it's not, like, blown up. Shadow the Hedgehog had 10 endings, I guess. That was a 2005 platformer spin-off from Sonic. Persona...
That's interesting.
Was that the PS2 game?
It doesn't say what system. Nobody played it. Persona 4 Golden. Persona 4 Golden, everybody loves that. In 2012, that had 10 endings. That was a very popular RPG.
I love the Persona 4 endings because it can end before you can actually go to the true ending, and you can lose about maybe 20 hours of gameplay. That's really awesome. I love the
what's the latest Far Cry? Is it 4? Is it 3? 4? Yeah. The new Far Cry, you can finish that in 5 minutes, isn't it? Have you seen that in Far Cry? What happens?
Oh yeah, Far Cry has this little Easter egg where it can you can beat the game in the first 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, you just sit down with that dude, or what's his name? I don't know what his name is.
Is that a spoiler? I mean, not really. This is more like an Easter egg, right?
Yeah, it's an Easter egg. Because you still got to play the game unless you're going to pay that much to just play it for 5 minutes.
If you start Far Cry 4, the latest Far Cry, don't get up from the table. Don't press anything.
Yes, that's it.
Just do that. I think you have to stay put for like about 15 minutes. Is that right?
Yeah, you stay there and then...
Yeah, and then see what happens. So... Mass Effect 3, according to this site, had 8 endings. I think we all know. that where we stand on that. But this is really interesting. I mean, the list keeps going and going. It says the original Metroid in 1986 had 5 endings. The Metroidvania classic.
What else is on there?
Deus Ex Human Revolution, 4 endings. Dragon Age Origins, 4 endings. Dragon Quest, 4 endings. So that's pretty cool.
Is that how you pronounce it? Deus Ex?
Deus Ex Machina.
It's Deus Ex.
Deus Ex. That's how you pronounce it.
Deus.
Yeah,
I
used to
you're
call
right.
it Deus Ex for like so many years.
Yeah, Deus Ex, exactly. Isn't like Deus Ex.
All right, everybody, this has been episode 8 of the Platinum Achievement Podcast. We are very sad to announce that Brian as well as Matt could not make it, but they will be back next episode at popular demand, I'm sure. If you guys have any show topics that you'd like to submit, please go to the Facebook page and search the Platinum Achievement Podcast. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us on YouTube. Again, just search the Platinum Achievement Podcast there. Tell a friend, anybody that you know who likes games, who may be interested, please go ahead and let them know that you found a community of fun-loving gamers from around the world who choose to talk about games every week. And we try to keep it action-packed just for you guys, so thank you very much for listening. We don't have Matt here, so why don't we have Imran take it away for the ending.
Banana and out.
Banana and out.
Chris, PSG are beating Chelsea, man.
They did. Oh.
They're winning.
No!
Right now.
No! What the f*** is this shit?
Sorry, okay, carry on. Let's do this.